Wow, Dee, thanks very much for all of that amazing information, all about the importance of having a marketing plan. So now we're going to move on to number 2, and that's all about book launches. So Dee, what makes a great book launch?
Oh, thanks for that, Brenda. This is something I just love to share to readers, the massive potential in their book launch, because I have seen and have been to so many book launches where maybe 2 or 3 people turn up, or where a lot of people turn up but no books are bought. And there is definitely a methodology, if you like, an approach you can take to ensuring that your book launch fulfills 3 key criteria beyond it being a jolly good bash. You want to get reviews, you want to get sales, you want to get recommendations. And I recall that when I had I think it was my 3rd book launch, it was at a place called Roffey Park, a really beautiful big conference centre in Horsham. And the publishing team at Wiley attended my book launch. And Jill, who was managing the launch and who'd been my contact at Wiley, said it was the most successful book launch they'd ever attended. And she defined that as not just bums on seats, but books sold. We sold 120 books that night. Now, she'd been to the British Library to a launch event, which is quite a lovely place, the British Library, a few nights before. And there's a huge crowd in attendance, and the author sold 11 books. And that really made me think, it's not necessarily about the environment. Although the environment is important, it's about priming people to buy your book. You can take it for granted they're going to have a great time, whether they have to buy their own drinks or not. You don't have to splash the cash. You can even, as I did, negotiate for a free room in exchange for promoting the event. Or you can charge a small fee of £5 to include the first drink and cover your room hire costs. But fundamentally, what you are about is getting book sales, getting your book on the map and making sure that the next day, all those people that attended your launch have got pictures of you signing your book, smiling with them, and they're putting them on LinkedIn, they're putting them on Facebook, they're putting them on Twitter, whatever their social channels are, on Instagram. You've really got to aim for that. So I'll tell you what my methodology is with book launches, because everyone I've had has been rammed, literally to the point where I was concerned that I had a reserve list and everybody turned up bar 2 people. And I was saying to the organisers, can we squeeze another 10 people on? So what do? Number 1, save the day. So what I do is I'd be writing to everybody on my list, and my list would comprise friends, influencers, small business community, journalists, really important to invite journalists. And believe you me, they'll come to your launch if you make it a nice event and they get a free signed copy and you make it clear you don't charge journalists for your book. You'll get them along, and of course then they will be actually writing about you. So get your list, your finely honed list. Look at how far people, I'm talking about a physical book launch. I'm assuming that we're going to be out of lockdown soon. But these tips apply whether it's face-to-face, physically, or whether it's online. It's exactly the same principles. So get your list, get your save the day, send out an email. Going to be having a book launch on this day. Let them know what you've got planned, not just a book launch. Very importantly, and this might sound daft, let them know I will be selling and I will be signing my books. Let them know how they can pay. I'll be taking cash. I don't take credit cards, because most people will think, even though it's only little you, oh, do you take credit cards? Sorry, I haven't got any cash. So again, all the things like that are really, really important. Let them also know it's a tax deductible expense. So we gave receipts at my book launch. So I said to the guys, the 15 essential masterclasses for your small business, I'm letting you have it at a price lower than you can get it on Amazon. So I sold it, I undercut Amazon by £1 because I would still make good margin. So I let people know that in my email. You get it at this price, you'll get a receipt on the night so you can offset it against tax. We'll have a lovely signed copy. And what I said as well, which was true, you will be one of the first 100 people in the world to get a signed copy of my book. Now, I know that some authors are like, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Of course you can do that, because it's true. You're not telling fibs. But that it brings that element of, oh my goodness, aren't I lucky to be invited to Dee's book launch? I'm only one of 100 people. Also let them know they have a date by which they must cancel. So if they must confirm attendance, and for the people that don't respond back, when you'll be closing the doors and then saying, I'm sorry, I can't keep the place open for you. Excuse me. So I had a 3-stage approach with emails. I had the save the date, which was number 1. Number 2, I'm delighted to invite you with all the details. Number 3, I'm delighted that you're coming to the launch, or I've not yet heard from you. I need to know by this date if you're able to attend, because places are strictly limited. Believe you me, the impact that makes is incredible, because you assume if I don't hear from people, they don't want to come. For most people, oh, really sorry, Dee, meant to respond. But you need this systematic approach. And then as you get nearer to the event, that's when you could get the dropouts. You then write into people saying, just to remind you, book launch is on this night. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Here's what's going to happen. And don't forget, you can still buy a signed copy. We'll take photographs. Remind them of all the goodies that are happening on the night. If you don't do that in that 3-stage process, you will end up with a fraction of the people attending the launch. Make sure that you really sell the sizzle and the substance. So I would send out a little message just saying, got to tell you, I'm super excited. We're at full capacity now. And that means if you can't come, I need to know as soon as possible, because I can't invite any more people. I had the opposite. I had people saying, oh, please, can I bring my partner? Can I bring my friend and all this? So you want it to be abundance, that people are champing at the bit to attend your launch. Now, I have things like, you can have a celebrity. I had Jenny Agutter was going to do my 3rd book launch. I had Syra Khan from The Apprentice, who came to my 1st book launch, just because I've done some television work with her. You don't need celebrities. It's nice if you know somebody who's got a name, but you might want to invite another, invent another author, invent one. You might want to invite a leading person in your sphere of influence, whether it's a fellow author, somebody who's very well regarded on the subject matter you are writing about. But the fundamental point is that this is an opportunity to really shine the halo on you and your book. So on the night, I'll just finish on this, that on the night, when you're standing up there speaking, and you might want to have a few guest speakers too, I definitely recommend having a master of ceremonies. So you're not doing both roles. You've got somebody who can, oh, here's Dee, and I'm so pleased, and da-da-da-da-da, and all that razzmatazz. But on the night, you've got to be asking the people there, please, guys, if you like my book, will you review it on Amazon or Goodreads or both? If you don't, I used to say, if you don't like it, just don't say anything. Promise you won't say anything. I'd make a joke of it. But what you want are reviews and sales. And the next day, you want people to be writing. This has happened with my books, that the day after my 2nd book launch, my book hit number 1 in the bestsellers. But I was then able to write press releases for the local papers saying over 100 people attended Dee Blick's launch of the 15 Essential Marketing Masterclasses. I was lucky I had journalists there that attended and also wrote about the book. So if you take one thing away from this whole sequence of tips that I've shared with you, is that a book launch is about so much more than just getting everybody together, pressing the flesh or doing the virtual kisses and handshakes. It's really about sales, reviews, recommendations, and real positive profile for your business.